Sitting with a very famous face here, Jeremy McWilliams, 500cc Grand Prix rider, one of my all-time greats to be honest, smoking rear tires, wringing the neck off everything that you rode. Been involved with the Super Duke project now, I think you said 13 years in your presentation. What was the script heading from 1290 to the new 1390? What were the 1290 was a fantastic package, but of course there's always room for improvement. What was those key points that you and the team were looking at evolving?
I guess, KTM keep coming up with surprises. Just out of the blue, something turns up and they say, yeah, we're thinking about jumping up to 1390 using camshaft technology, more torque, more horsepower, and you're thinking, well, is that really needed? Should we be going there? Yeah, of course, let's go there. Go and at least evaluate it and see what you think. First time I rode the bike, I was like blown away. I mean, properly blown away. Back to power, we get this just like a little power band whenever the camshaft comes in, so it really pushes you. You know you've got more torque. You're on track with other bikes because we dressed it up as a 1290, and all of a sudden we're on track day and you're passing Panagallis and V4s and you're sitting with sports bikes, something that we struggle a little bit with on a naked bike, but this 1390 really ticks all those boxes. And yeah, once we get into the development phase of it, it was just a pleasure to be riding the bike. Of course we ride a lot on street, we developed it for street use primarily, but then we've got our power parts version as well that we want to take on track, and working with our WP guys has been a lot of fun because we've got brand new technology for the track. Suspension settings, we're using 50mm piston technology like our MotoGP guys are using now on that. So there's a whole more host of lovely added extras that we haven't even delved into on this launch.
And the characteristic of a twin is never to really carry the power all the way through to the top end. My gripe with previous generation was a lot of torque at the bottom, sometimes a bit too uncontrollable. You'd have that big snap and then it would kind of run out of steam towards the top end. This new one with the shift cam and the evolution and the changes that have been made, certainly today at Almeria down the long back straight, just carries itself a lot more. So it just feels like you're doing this 4-cylinder in a way of carrying a lot higher power all the way through at a higher rev range.
You've hit the nail on the head because that's what it does. It keeps pulling all the way, this lovely flat line of torque, if you've seen it on our figures, but it just keeps flat. After that camshaft comes in at 5,700 odd, it just carries it all the way. You've got this lovely long spread of torque that carries all the way to the rev limiter actually, and that's what makes it a lot of fun. If you want to play about and carry wheelies, of course it's great for that, but the rider, I think, enjoyment comes from an engine that makes bags of torque. The horsepower figure doesn't mean anything. Yeah, we got close to 200 sitting on our power parts bike, but actually we got 150 Newton meters. That's way more important to the end user. And why is that? It's because you don't need to worry about switching gears up and down the gearbox when you're riding it on the street. You can carry one gear, as you've seen here in Almeria, Rob, where you're carrying third gear through second gear corners, and it grunts, it pulls, and it just keeps going. You don't have to rely on switching gears so much. You're using maybe 3 gears for the whole of this circuit. On a street bike, that's pretty impressive. And again, on the street, you cruise along in 6th gear, never have to worry much about switching back because the 5th gear and 6th gear now are much closer with the new gearbox settings.
Previous 1290s, especially the early editions, you'd use words raw, nervous, rebellious, edgy. And I think what's happened now is you can still use a lot of those words, but the nervous you can take out and probably change with maturity. The stability I found under hard braking today was a lot better. It corrects itself a lot more. There's this assurance about the Super Duke that it kind of lacked before, this confidence of, I'm this rebellious, raw, industrial machine, but even the gearbox, the quick shift, everything, you've still got that raw, edgy industrial feel, but with this maturity and this refinement in it now.
There's a lot of time, that goes into all of those little things you talk about, that quick shift technology and back shift technology, how we make that smoother every time we adapt and evolve. And of course, it is much better now on the 1390 maybe than it was on our very first early 1290s, as you say. that's the natural progression with our engine guys and our very clever R&D department that basically just keep pushing for perfection. And you know what I love about the new bike is that it's also give us a huge array of options on the options list. When you look at the Evo bike, you look at our electronics package on the R as well with our anti-wheelie technology control, you know, our different settings on ABS, our lean angle on the Evo bikes with different compression rates at full lean angle or straight line and acceleration stability. There's so much now that's included in the new bikes that we never had on our previous generation. So I think it's an all-round polished pack with way more go if you want it. You can also turn everything on and keep the bike nice and sedate and ride it in everyday suburbia without having to wake up all of the neighbours. You know, that's the idea behind having that street setting, and you know, everything from rain setting, 128 horsepower, or suspension options in rain, comfort, street, sport, and then the tech pack which offers you all of those lovely additions that you've been testing today.
And so, hashtag no bullshit, give us a percentage of how much better you think the 1390 is compared to 1290.
But we say that we've changed about 60% of the bike is new. I think when you ride it, it feels like we've got, you know, at least 60% of those lovely options that have, and certainly the get up and go, the grunt, the fun factor, the beast if you want it, the nice tame one, the more tame bike and more refined bike, again when you need it, when you're riding out there on the B roads or whatever. But I think it's overall, obviously, it's definitely a 60% better package for me. And I just love that KTM have taken this on board and said, yeah, well, let's make 1390. Let's give it camshaft technology. You know, the 1290 had bags of go everywhere, but now this one's just got a bit of everything else, hasn't it? It's got a bit more refinement, as you say, and a bit more get up and go. Those torque figures are still way above anything that we ever get to test on in any other manufacturer. They're miles ahead in that mid-range department.
Well, Jeremy, it was an absolute pleasure and honour sharing the track with you for a brief second today, and just carry on the good work of Super Duke.
Really enjoying it. Love my work. I feel very honoured to still be part of this incredible evolving R&D department. So thanks for that.